Hi everybody! So today I'm going to show you to make the original strawberry shortcake doll. She's the 1980 version. There is 4 different versions of her. You'll find this one already on my channel. She's from 2009. This was originally created by @Karina Loom Bands from Instagram. She's got some really cute stuff up there, so please do check out her page. For the supplies, these are the colors that we're going to be using: caramel brown, red, white, lime green, pink, skin color. Skin color you can get from Rainbow Loom now in packages of 600, so you don't have to buy so many of the assorted colors. You'll need something for the eyes. Either the pony beads, I'd recommend 7mm, or 12mm safety eye. I'm using blue, I don't have the green. I know her eyes are green. We're also going to be using the strawberry. The strawberry you'll find on my channel, and I thought it fit perfectly here. The link will be down below in the description box or above in the iCard. You're going to use a pencil, 2 stitch markers, scissors, your hook. I recommend using an extra hook. We'll be creating her hair pieces, so something to store it on, her body, and her arms. You'll also be using some stuffing. So I'm going to get started, and I do hope you enjoy. Now I'm going to show you how to do her hair pieces, and they're just a chain of 5 with a cap band that's wrapped 4 times. I recommend putting the pieces on an extra hook because we'll be actually using them just like this. Now if you don't have an extra hook, that's okay. You can put these on after, so store them on a pencil, skewer, your loom if you want to, if you just kind of want to add them on until you're ready to use. So we need a total of 17. I'm going to take my first band and wrap it around 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you have 4 loops. The 4 loops help the hair to actually stand down instead of, if it's 3, it kind of curls back up. So you can do this on your loom or just with your hook. Creating a chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm just going to put this on my hook, push up, and you should have a total of 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So you can store that until we're ready to use. Round 1 of the arms, I'm going to show you to do 1, and then you're going to pause the video and make yourself another. I'm going to start off with the skin color for her hands, and I'm going to do 7 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'm going to use my first band to wrap around the bottom part of the loom 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. So there's 3 loops. Now I'm going to pull 7 bands through one at a time. So with my hook, I'm just going to reach in and grab my first band and bring it through. I'm going to put the other end on my hook and bring the top loop over and bring it to the side. Going back in for the second band to bring through, end on your hook. You should have 3 loops now, and you're going to bring the top 2 bands over. We're going to continue to bring it to the side. Go back in for your third band, same thing, bring it through, end on your hook, and now you're bringing the top 2 loops over and bring it to the side. You're going to continue that 4 more times. Now I'm going to remove off the loom, move my bands around so that they're nice and even, and you should have 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 is on your hook. I'm going to attach my stitch marker to this band that's around my hook, I have rounds 2 and 3 here, and in both sections I have 7 bands. What I'm going to do is just do 7 single crochets. So one band is going to go in each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. I'm going to repeat that for round 3, except for round 3, because I'm changing color, I'm going to do a slip stitch to change the color. So let's do round 2, 1 band in each chain. Go in your first chain, and you're just going to single crochet, bringing 1 band through, end on your hook, and slide. Continue the next chain with 1. All the way around until you get to the stitch marker. When you get to the stitch marker, you can remove and add it to the band that's around your hook. You should still have 7 stitches. And we're going to start round 3 by going in the first chain, not where it's getting pulled. I'm going to bring my first band through all the loops that are on my hook so we have a nice even round when we change colors. I'm going to continue going around until I get to the stitch marker. So you should still have 7 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 7, we're going to do 7 single crochets and grabbing the inside loops only. So you're going to be just grabbing, don't go through the whole chain, you're only going to grab the first loop to each chain around and do a single crochet. So I'm going to go in my first chain, not the little slip knot, that's where we changed color. You want to go to your first chain and just grab the inside loops only and do a single crochet. The next chain, just grabbing the inside loop only, so you should always have just the 2 on your hook. The next inside loop, you can put your hook through if you can't grab the inside loop, and then just slide back and then grab it. You want to continue until you get to the stitch marker. Inside loop only. And the last one. So you can, once you're done, you remove your stitch marker and then just add it to the band that's around your hook. You should still have 7 stitches. For rounds 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, we're going to do 7 single crochets, so adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each pile I have 7 bands, so at the end of each round you should have 7 stitches. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed, and then we're going to be adding 2 sewing bands. I will come back for the last band to do a slip knot with you. So I'm just going to go in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and do a single crochet. The next chain. You're going to do this all the way until you get to the stitch marker. You can remove your stitch markers at the end of each round and add it to the band that's around your hook. I have my bands organized, so I won't be doing that. I won't be adding stuffing to the arms, just so you know. So you can remove the stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, or you can just continue with the rounds. Make sure when you start, don't go where it's getting pulled. And you're just going to continue. So you can pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So I'm at the last band and I'm going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. Then we're going to add 2 sewing bands and then we're going to do the frill at the bottom. So going in for the last chain here, bringing my last band through and tying it off by doing a slip knot. Don't pull too hard because this is one of your sewing bands. You just want to secure the knot. Now to add the 2 sewing bands, what I'm going to do is bring my slip knot to the side here and fold the arm in half. You can see that I have no stuffing inside. I'm going to go through the 2 chains in the center, not the 2 chains beside the slip knot. So from one end to the other, and do a slip knot. Again, don't pull too hard, just secure the knot. And I'm going to go through the last 2 chains at the end here, so I'm even with this one. And a slip knot. You can see I brought it to the side and secure it. Now I'm going to do the little frill at the end. You have 7 chains on here and I'm going to do a complete round, so I'm going to be using an 8th band. So that just means where I start is where I'm going to end. So to create this, we're going to be grabbing the chains, this little single chain that you're going to see going all the way around. It's right above the red. So right here, not your little knots here. It's this little single band that you're going to see. You're going to do 7 single crochets. And then we're going to tie it off. So we'll get to that. Now find the side where you want to start, and it's going to be the back. I kind of have this flat side here, so that's going to be facing the body when we're done. So you're going to start by going in and you're holding the body where the top of the arm is here. I don't have it this way. Otherwise your frill is going to be facing up. So having the arm like this, these are my first 2 chains here. So I'm going to go through 1 and single crochet. The next chain, all the way around, so I'm back where I started. So I'm going to go in that chain, the first one that I grabbed, just so we have a complete circle. So that is a complete round. So this last band, I need to tie it off by going through all the loops, grabbing the end, and then tie it off. So giving it a tug, and then you can see that the frill will face down. I'm going to go through the arm and hide the slip knot. And I'm just giving it a tug, and then I just hit it. So now I'm going to show you how to do the legs, and I'm going to make one with you, and then you're going to pause the video to make yourself another. I'm starting off with the brown color. I am using caramel. I'm going to do 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So using the bottom part of my loom, my first band, I'm going to wrap around 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to pull 6 bands through, 1 at a time. Reaching in, grabbing my first, bring it through, end on your hook, and top loop over. Bring it to the side. Go back in for your second band to bring through, end on your hook, and now you're just bringing the top 2 loops over. And make sure you bring it to the side. Back in for your third band. The same thing, end on your hook, and now you're just bringing top 2 loops over. Bring it to the side and continue 3 more times. I'm going to remove off the loom, fix it up. You should have 6 stitches and attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook. For round 2, we're going to increase to 12 stitches. So you have 6 stitches right now. So we're going to increase by adding 2 bands to each chain. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. So at the end of round 2, you're going to have 12 stitches. So I'm going to go on my first chain, bring 2 bands through one at a time. So it's just doing 2 single crochets in each chain. Back in that same chain to add the second band. Go to your next chain and repeat 2 single crochets in that one chain, and that's your increase. Back in. And continue until you get to the stitch marker. You can see I have 3 chains left and 3 sections left. Each one of my sections represents a chain. You should have 12 stitches, counting the band that's on your hook. Remove your stitch marker. Add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase to 15 stitches. So you're going to do 3 single crochets followed by an increase. 3 single crochets followed by an increase, and you're repeating this 3 times. So every 4th chain, you're adding 2 bands. So I'm going to go on my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and single crochet. Chain 2 is 1 band. Chain 3 is 1 band. Now chain 4 is your increase. Back in. And repeat. Follow the layout. So you should have 15 stitches. I'm just going to flatten this up a bit, remove your stitch marker, and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to do 15 single crochets, grabbing the inside loops only. So just the first little loop that's facing the inside all the way around until you get to your stitch marker. Don't start where it's getting pulled. Grab your first inside, stitch only. You can see I have 15 bands here, 5, 10, and 15. So at the end of this round, you're going to have the 15 stitches. 1 band to each inside loops only. Oh, I dropped my stitches, just picking them up. And the last one where my stitch marker is. So again, you should have 15 stitches. For round 5, I'm going to decrease to 12 stitches. I'll be using the invisible decrease method. So if you're not familiar with Just AV's technique, I will do that part slowly. So the pattern is 3 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. So I'm adding an extra band. 3 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. And you're going to repeat this 3 times. Your last band, we're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed so we can see the center back. That's going to be important. So I'm going to start off with 3 single crochets, 1 band in the first 3 chains. Don't go where it's getting pulled. The next chain. And the third chain. So the invisible decrease, we're going to do a slip stitch in the next 2 chains and leave them on our hook. So you're going to bring your band through the chain, on your hook, and slide under and leave it on your hook. Repeat with the next chain. 3 loops and slide. Let's repeat the layout again. 3 single crochets. Now we're going to do the invisible decrease, slip stitch, and the next 2 chains. Three loops and slide. And repeat one more time until you get to the stitch marker. Forgive me. We want to do a slip knot, so please forgive me. I'm going to do my slip stitch in my next chain. The last one you want to do a slip knot, so you're just going to bring it through all the bands. I'm so sorry. Go through. This is your second last chain. Slip stitch. Leave it on your hook. Go to your last chain and bring your last band through all the loops that are on your hook. You still did a decrease, but we're closing it off. Now you can remove this stitch marker, and we'll use this at the end of the next round. For round 6, this is the last round that I'll be using the brown color, and then we're going to be switching to the green. What I'm going to do is 2 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. 2 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease, and I'm going to repeat this pattern 3 times. When we're done, we're going to add a little bit of stuffing to fill the shoe area. So where I'm going to start is the stitch before the slip knot. So just go through and single crochet. Go to the next stitch, which is on the other side of the slip knot, and single crochet. Now you're going to do a slip stitch in the next 2 chains and leave them on your hook. This is your decrease. Three loops and slide. You're going to repeat this pattern 2 more times. I have 2 more chains left, so this is the decrease, and then leave it on your hook, you want to attach the stitch marker to this band that's around your hook. I am securing it, so I'm just going to move my hook and then add a little bit of stuffing. I'm pretty sure this is too much. You want to keep the same shape of the shoe. You don't want the shape to change, so you don't need a lot. I'm going to take out a little bit. So you don't want the shoe looking like this. This is a flat surface, so keep it the same and make sure all the stuffing is inside. For round 7, I'm changing to this lime green color. And I'm going to do 7 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. Now for this round, I'm going to be grabbing the inside loops only all the way around. So take your time and make sure you're finding the inside loops only. Give your shoe a little bit of a tug so you can find your first stitch, which is kind of over here. Just grabbing the inside loop only. You're changing color, so bring it through all the loops to start off with a slip stitch. And slide. So I just went through all the loops that were on my hook. Now, continue. Your last 2 stitches are what you'll be stitching together. Push the stuffing down if you need to. I'm going to grab the inside loop. So you're hooking onto that first little stitch. I drop my stitches. I'm just going to change this green band. It was kind of thin. So now I have 2 stitches left. Invisible decrease. You're doing the invisible decrease, slip stitch in each. Leave it on your hook. You'll have 3 stitches and slide. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, we're going to be doing 8 single crochets, 1 band to each chain, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. You can see the colors that I have here: green, white, white, green, green, white. When you change color, do a slip stitch so you have an even round, and there's still 2 more rounds to the leg. We still have to do this, so don't do a slip knot with your last band. We are still going to continue. I'm going to do the first 2 rounds with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So starting off with the green, don't go in your slip knot, go in your first chain. Now 1 band in each chain. Each pile I have 8 bands, so at the end of each round you should have 8 stitches. You can remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, and we're going to change color. So I'm going to go on my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bring my first band through all the loops that are on my hook. Grab the end and slide, don't pull. And continue going around. You can remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, continue, and come back to me when you're done. So this is what you should have so far. And I'm going to start round 14 and we're going to increase to 12 stitches. So I'm using the white color, but we're going to be grabbing the inside loops only. So to each chain, you're just grabbing the inside loops only, all the way around. The pattern is single crochet followed by an increase, single crochet followed by an increase, and you're going to repeat this 4 times. So I want to go to my first chain, not the slip knot, first chain, and grab the inside loop only, single crochet. The next inside loop only, you're going to add 2 single crochets to this one chain. So that's your increase. Inside, back in that same one. The next chain, single crochet. Follow the layout. The next chain is your increase. Back in. So you have 2 chains left and 2 sections left. You should have 12 stitches. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 15, I'm still using the white, and this is our last round. The pattern is a single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. Single crochet followed by an invisible decrease, and I'm going to repeat this 4 times. So we'll have 8 stitches when we're done. Our last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. After we're done, I'm going to be using a pencil, and I'm going to be filling the leg. So what I'm going to do is go in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and do a single crochet. You got to remember the last band to do a slip knot. The next 2 chains is a slip stitch and leave it on your hook. The next. 3 loops inside. Repeat. Slip stitch. Slip stitch. This is the second last chain. Leave it on your hook. The last chain, go in, bring your band through all the loops to tie it off. You can give that a tug. Now I'm just going to fix this up by moving the bands around, not stretching them. And you're going to take a little bit of stuffing. You don't need a lot. You don't want to change the shape of the leg. So basically, I'm bringing stuffing to the same length of the leg. And to make my life a little bit easier, I'm just going to twirl it around. Open it up, and using the pencil to bring in. And the shape of the leg didn't change. Now, to know that this is the back, I'm just going to bend the leg forward. Now I'm just going to remove the stitch marker. And this is what you should have. Now what I'm going to do is do the frill around the end here. Now we're going to add the little frill that you see here. And what I'm going to do is a single crochet followed by an increase, single crochet followed by an increase. I'm going to repeat that 4 times. So at the end, we're going to have 12 stitches. Now I want to do a complete round, so I'm going to use an extra band. So we have a complete circle. The stitches that you're going to be using are going to be these little stitches that you see here. One of them is quite not visible. You're going to bounce from here to here. That's where you started and stopped. So don't skip that stitch. You have 8 stitches here, so you're going to be able to increase to 12 stitches. I'm starting at the back, and I'm having the top of the leg here and the bottom facing my left hand. So I'm going to go through one of the stitches and bring a single band through. So this is the band that I'm going to be doing a slip knot with. Go to the next stitch, and this is your increase. Take your time, back in. So I just did 2 single crochets in that one chain. Repeat the pattern and copy my layout. The next stitch. If you're not holding the leg the same way as me, what's going to happen is the frill is going to go facing the top. Back in. So I have 12 stitches now. I'm going to grab the stitch where I started and tie it off. Bringing it through all the loops, grabbing the end and tie off. Now I'm going to attach the legs together, and you want to be using the white color bands. I am going to be using different colors, so I'm going to make this a little bit easier for you to see how I'm attaching the legs. So you want to make sure that you're using the white. What I'm going to do is having the front of the legs facing me, so your slip knots are in the back. Position the legs, so make sure that they're flat and you don't sew them on crooked. So I have my little slip knots kind of at they're a little bit over than the center back. So I'm going to put those together. I have 8 stitches on each leg. So we're going to use 16 bands in total. And this is going to be the layout, how I'm attaching the bands. I'm starting, I'm going around and going around. My last band, this is my 16th band, I'll be attaching a stitch marker. So again, make sure you're using the white color bands. I'm starting here, and these 2 stitches are going to be the 2 stitches in the center. So having your legs nicely, you want to find the 2 stitches that are in the center. So I'm going to go here, and I'm grabbing. So this is going to be, let me just fix this leg up. So I want to make sure I'm finding the 2 center stitches. And I'm going to grab here. So these are going to be my 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So you're just going to single crochet around. So I'm going to grab the first band, bring it through, both of the legs on my hook and slide. Grabbing the next 2 stitches right above on either side, making sure you're not grabbing the same stitch where I just grabbed, you're grabbing the stitches right above. And there's my next band. Bring it through and slide. Now continue with the pattern. This is chain 3. So you can see going to the next chain. Now I'm going from the inside of the leg out, and I'm at the top of the stitch, at top of the leg. And bring your band through. I chose to do red in the center so you can see where I'm at. I'm just going to move my stuffing inside because I'm grabbing all the stuffing. So this is my 4th stitch. Bring through. This is the 5th. And the 6th, now I'm at the center, or sorry, the front of the leg. This is 6. And 7. Eight. And now the 9th stitch, what I'm going to be doing is grabbing the stitch where I grabbed originally with the red. Here you can see. So I'm going to be reusing that same chain. Now for my 10th stitch, I'm going to be grabbing the loops of the red, or you're going to see your loops of the white. That's where you first started. Normally I'd bounce over here, but because the legs were just kind of like wide, it showed a bit of a gap. So I'm just going to grab the center loops here that were my red color. So you just find those and you're grabbing 2 of the loops. Now they were the bottom loops, so they're the outside ones. And grab. Now I don't want to reuse this loop again where the red is, where you can see where you originally started. I'm going to skip that and go to the next. And it will close up. Now you can just continue around. You have 5 more bands. I'm just going to remove and push my stuffing in. And you'll have 16 stitches, which I'll review on the next round. You can attach your stitch marker to this band that's around your hook, and I'm just going to change the color to my white. So I'm just going to review the stitches. You can see that I changed to white color here, and that's what you should have. I'm going to review the stitches so you know there's 16 stitches. You're going to see this little stitch where it's getting pulled. That is going to be your first one. Right there. 1. You're going to go 1. This is your next stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 is on your hook. The pattern, we're going to increase to 22 stitches. So you're going to do an increase followed by 2 single crochets. Increase followed by 2 single crochets. You're going to repeat that 5 times, and where your stitch marker is, you're going to be doing an increase. So let's start off in our first stitch. Give it a tiny tug and you're going to see that hidden stitch. That's your first one. Bring 2 bands through one at a time. Back in. Now you're going to find your next stitch. It's not your little slip knot that's in the center. Your next stitch, and it's right at the top of the leg, so at the back. Single crochet, next stitch, single crochet, and we're going to repeat the pattern, increase followed by a single crochet. You can follow the layout. The stitches are easily, you can easily see them, and continue until you get to the stitch marker. I'm just going to hide this slip knot, so I'm just going to go through and just bring this little slip knot through, just because I'm right here. Maybe I should have waited. Just going to bring it in and continue with the pattern. So you should have 22 stitches now. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 3, 4, and 5, I'm using the white color, and it'll be our last round for the white on round 5. We're going to do 22 single crochets, so each pile I have 22 bands. I'm going to do round 3 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So to start you off here, 1 band in each chain, give it a tug, you're going to see your little stitch, don't skip that. 1 band in each chain until you get to your stitch marker. So again, you should have 22 stitches. You want to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. For round 6, I'm changing to the red color. I'm going to be grabbing the inside loops only to each chain around. I have 22 bands here, so we're going to do 22 single crochets. I have 6, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. You're changing to red, so you're going to start off with a slip stitch. Don't go where it's getting pulled. Inside loop only. Bring it through all the loops grab your end and slide. The next stitch inside loop only. You're just doing this all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. So when you put your hook through, you should only have one white and one red band. So I think you can pause the video, continue all the way around, and come back to me when you're done. Right now, this is what you have on the body. What I'm going to do now is start the skirt, and I just think it will be a little bit easier if we did the skirt now. So to do the skirt, the first thing that we're going to do is, I'll explain the stitches in 1 second. We want to secure our chain here. So what I'm going to do is go through our first chain. So not the little slip knot, our first chain where we would normally start. And I'm going to grab onto one of those chains to secure my stitch. And then I'm just going to release. Now my stitch marker is secured, but I just want you to see because it'll be easier to grab once we do this. So hold on to that. What we're going to do is a half double crochet followed by 2 half double crochets, half double crochet followed by 2 half double crochets, and we're going to repeat that 11 times. So for a half double crochet, like I've done with the other strawberry shortcake, pretty sure I did it with Smurfette. For half double crochet, you need 2 bands, and for 2 half double crochets, you'll need 4 bands. I'll repeat 11 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Last band, attach a stitch marker. So if you want to pause the video and set that up, when we're done, we're going to have 33 stitches. So what I'm going to do to start first, I'm at the back and the legs are at the bottom. I'll be grabbing the outside loops only. So to start us off, what I'm going to do is grab the 2 stitches just to start off here. So I'm basically going through the chains, like the middle of the chain. And I'm going to do a half double crochet by going through with 1 band on my hook. The second band goes through just the first loop and on your hook. And slide. So that was 1 half double crochet. Now in the next chain over, you're going to grab just the outside loop. So you're basically going through the bottom through the center of the chain. And you're going to do 2 half double crochets in that 1 chain. So it goes through the chain on your hook. You'll have 3 loops. Second band goes underneath the first and on your hook. From now on, you'll have 4 bands and then you slide. So you're going back in that same chain and repeating. Band through, on your hook. Second band goes underneath the first loop and on your hook. And then you'll slide. Go underneath, through the chain, and do a half double crochet. Band through, on your hook. Second band goes underneath the first loop. When you have 4 loops, then you slide. Going to the next chain, we're going to be doing 2 half double crochets through the chain on your hook. Second band goes underneath the first loop and on your hook, 4 loops and slide. Go back in that same chain for the second. Second band underneath the first loop, on your hook, and slide. Now you just want to continue with the pattern. So now you can continue, pause the video, continue, and I'll come back for the last stitch. Now I'm at the last stitch, and it's right where my stitch marker is. So I'm just going to repeat. This is where you should have 2 half double crochets. Back in. And you want to attach your stitch marker, another stitch marker, to the band that's around your hook. Round 2 of the skirt, it's our last round. I'm going to do 33 half double crochets. So I have a row of 10, 10, 10, and 3. So I have 33 sections here of double bands only. So if you need to pause the video and copy the layout, you want to do that now. So I'm just going to do a single crochet, a single half double crochet to each chain. So if you open it up, this is a chain. So from the bottom up, open it up, don't go where you started, go over. And you want to do a half double crochet to each chain around. Bring it through. 4 loops and slide. Open it up to the next chain. Your last band, you're just going to tie it off because you'll be done. So you want to do like a little slip knot. My little slip knot is right here, and tie it off. So you want to pause the video, continue, tie it off, and come back to me when you're done. Now I'm going to continue with the body here. I've removed my stitch marker from the skirt, and this is what you should have. Now before I start with the body, I'm going to remove my stitch marker and unhook it from that first chain here. and leave it on the original band that we had our stitch marker on. So if you count your stitches, you should have 22 stitches around. Now to do the body, we are going to do 18 single crochets. So I have 6, 12, and 18, followed by 2 invisible decreases. So if you want to copy the layout, what I'm going to do is, normally we would go this way into each chain around, but I'm going to go from the back and do kind of like an inside out stitch. So it's going to appear inside out. I wanted this part of the dress a little bit differently and this part differently. It's up to you how you want to do it, but that's how I'm going to do it. So you can see it's a little bit different than here. You can also see I have too much stuffing in the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going from the outside towards the inside, and I'm going to do that for the next 3 rounds. Working on our fine motor skills. So I'm going to go in and grab my first one and bring it through. So you can see I'm just grabbing the one little loop to each one around, from the outside towards the in. So you can just keep going, and you want to stop at your 4th last stitch. So now you should have 4 chains left, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to be stopping at the stitch before the stitch marker. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to do an invisible decrease, so slip stitch in the next 2 chains. Keep it on your hook. And slide. One more time. And one more time. Slide. Now you can remove the stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 8, I'm going to do 20 single crochets, adding 1 band to each chain, and I'm going from the outside towards the inside again. So I have 10 and 10. I have 20 bands here, so you should have 20 stitches when you're done. Don't go where it's getting pulled. You want to kind of fix up your chain. It shouldn't be the one that's attached to the white. It should be the one at the top here. Go from the back towards the in and single crochet. I think you can pause the video, continue You'll end where the stitch marker is. Come back to me when you're done. For round 9, I'm going to be going from the outside towards the inside for the last time, for the last round. For this round, we're going to be decreasing to 18 stitches. So first we're going to do 16 single crochets followed by 2 invisible decreases. So I have 10 and 6, 16 single crochets and 2 invisible decreases. So I'm going to get started, not where it's getting pulled, and you don't want to go in your little slip knot here, or let's go in our first chain. This is the same band, so I'm not going to go in that. I'm going to go on my first chain and do a single crochet. From the outside towards the inside. So the last 4 chains is where you want to stop, and you could do your decreases. So I have 4 chains left, 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the ones where I start my invisible decrease. Remove your stitch marker and attach it to the band that's around your hook. You should have 18 stitches. For round 10, I'm going to do 18 single crochets, grabbing the inside loops only. For each chain around, just grabbing the loop from the center. So it's just like that. I have 18 bands, 6, 12, and 18. So grabbing the first inside loop, not where it's getting pulled. The next. All the way until you get to your stitch marker. You're noticing that I'm going the right way now. I'm not going from the outside. So you can pause the video, continue until you get to your stitch marker, and come back to me when you're done. For round 11, we're going to decrease to 15 stitches. The pattern that I'm going to be following is 3 single crochets followed by a decrease. I'll be using Nancy from Facebook, her type of decrease. If you're not familiar with that one, I'll do that one a bit slowly. So I'm going to do 3 single crochets followed by a decrease, 3 single crochets followed by a decrease, and then ending with 3 single crochets. So we'll have 15 stitches when we're done. I'm going to go in the first 3 chains, 1, with one band in each. Don't go where it's getting pulled. Now for the decrease, we just want to stitch these 2 stitches together. So you could either do how most of you are familiar with, or however really which way you would like. I like the clean finish of Nancy's decrease. So basically it's grabbing the inside loop of the first chain and then grabbing the outside loop of the second chain and bringing your band through. I'm just going to grab it again. Inside loop of the first chain, outside loop of the second chain. Again, it's up to you how you'd like to decrease for this one. And slide. I'm going to repeat 1, 1, 1. Decrease. Inside loop of the first chain, outside loop of the second chain. Bring your band through and repeat one more time. Inside loop, outside loop of the next. And now 3 single crochets. Remove your stitch marker. You should have 15 stitches. Add it to the band that's around your hook. For the next 3 rounds, we're going to do 15 single crochets. So each pile, I have 15 bands. So at the end of each round, you should have 15 stitches. Don't go where it's getting pulled. Your last band, you want to do a slip knot to tie it closed. 1 band in each chain, all the way till you get to your stitch marker. You'll notice that I'm going from the inside to the outside and crocheting normally, or the correct way. Ah, 12 bands. I only put 12, 13, 14, sorry, and 15. I'm short bands. You should have 15. So sorry, continue. I counted the wrong amount in my piles. So you should have 15 stitches. Remove your stitch marker. Add it to the band that's around your hook. You want to pause the video and complete the 2 rounds. The last band, you want to do a slip knot to tie it closed. Now that you're done with the body, you want to remove your stitch marker and we're going to add some stuffing to fill. Don't add a lot of stuffing. You just want to kind of have the shape of it. You don't need to add a lot. Now I'm just going to push down to the leg part area. So if your stuffing is showing through the back, just squish the bands together. You might have to relieve some of the tension that you have there, but you don't need that much stuffing. But we do want the stuffing to the top so that you have kind of like a circle form. And that should be okay.